Author's point of view. In the middle of her living room, Meredith Cruz is watching the news on television. And the poster head is her own husband. No one other than Maximilian Cruz, the alpha of New Moon Pack. She is looking at him kissing a young woman, almost naked and dancing on the tables in the middle of a bar. She doesn't even know. When was the last time when they spoke? She didn't wanted this marriage, but every day, since she became Maximilian's Cruz wife in Luna, she has been doing everything she can to be a good wife. She has taken care of the house where she lives, prepared meals every day for the last 6 months, and has been waiting for her husband to eat together. Although he has never set his foot in the house since she has been here, Maximilian remembers that she exists only when Meredith calls him on an urgent matter, and that only happened once since they married. So, Meredith doesn't draw the wrong conclusion at all when she realizes that her husband has completely forgotten about her. "Luna, please," Auntie Jen said. "Please don't look anymore. Don't worry, Auntie. I am fine," Meredith said, and looking one more time on television, she takes her phone and calls her husband. "Good morning, my dear," she said, making Auntie Jen smile. "Ah, it's you," she heard Maximilian puffing nervously. "What else do you want this time?" "I wanted to tell you that I decided. I want a divorce." She tells him straight away, without looking around, and looking up she sees Auntie Jen with tears in her eyes. "When do you want to go to finish this thing?" Alpha Max Cruz asks her, and his voice changes completely. Meredith can feel his joy. "There is no need to meet. I already signed the papers. Auntie Jen will give it to you, and I am sure you know exactly what to do with it. If this is a prank, I will." But Max can't tell her anything anymore, so Meredith immediately shuts the phone in his nose. "It is over, Auntie," she said. "Luna, but why?" And bursting in tears, Auntie Jen asks Meredith, "Is there really nothing that can be done about it? You are so kind, and our former Luna and Alpha love you so much." "And what about Grandpa Cruz? You will break his heart." Of course that Auntie Jen knows all that, because she was an Omega in Alpha's house for more than 40 years. She loves this family, and raised Maximilian. But right now she loves this pure and simple girl that is her Luna more than anything else. "Auntie, I can't do it anymore." And her dark blue eyes are so clear right now that Auntie's Jen heart is softening. "He will regret losing you," she said. "He won't. We've been married for 6 months, and he's never come home since the day of our wedding. But I am all right. I never wanted to be his Luna, just as he never wanted me. I am just a human, a weak human being in his strong pack. It is normal for him to be disgusted of me. Still, you are our Luna. You can't leave us," begs Auntie Jen. "He will find his real Luna. Maybe he will find his mate. Who knows? Everything is possible." And embracing her, she looks lovingly at the old woman who took care of her all this time. "I need to pack my things. I don't want your Alpha to find me here," Meredith said, and walked to her bedroom. She looks in the mirror and smiles. "We did it, girl. We are finally free from him. I've tried for Mom and Dad, but I can just stay here and feel lost." And she immediately takes off her suitcase and starts packing her clothes. She takes her favorite light blue lace dress and puts a light makeup on her angelic face. She takes her nude stiletto shoes, and looking one more time in the mirror, she is happy to be the old Meredith Quinn. Again. The one that is elegant and refined. "Luna," Auntie Jen exclaims in shock when she sees her coming down. All these months, she saw Meredith in simple clothes, living humble. She always worked in the house and never let Auntie Jen to work by herself. "You look so beautiful. If Alpha would see you right now, I am sure he would like to stay at home, just to be with you." But just the thought of Maximilian finding out how the real Meredith Quinn looks makes her tremble. "No, Auntie. If you really care about me, please don't tell him about this. Leaving this place, I have the chance to live for the first time in my life. I want this. It is my choice." Meredith told her and took her in her arms, making the little old woman cry. "My Alpha could not have a better Luna than you. I will miss you, my Luna." And looking at Meredith one more time, she asks, "Do you want me to call you a taxi?" No, Auntie. My brother is waiting for me, and kissing her aged and wrinkled cheeks, Meredith walks out of the house without looking back and runs straight into the car waiting for her at the gate. The thing is that she never wanted to marry Maximilian Cruz. But this was her parents' strongest wish, to see her in a good family. Her parents knew that Aluna's life would be smooth, and she loves them so much that she couldn't stand to oppose them. She is the adopted daughter of Alpha Landon Quinn. She was found in the forest by her brother when James was only 7 years old. He loved her with all his heart and took her home. Olivia and Landon Quinn adopted her even if she was human, but they loved her so much and all her life she was protected by them. This is why they looked for a man that would offer safety to their daughter. Because Landon Quinn and Carter Cruz, Maximilian's dad, were old friends. They asked their children to marry each other. Maximilian vowed never to love Meredith. He wanted to mate later, but mating with a weak human was out of discussion. Meredith felt the same way. No one knows exactly her age, all assumed that she is already 18, but in fact she was just a few months younger. She just wanted to live, to stand by herself. She accepted Maximilian Cruz. But Maximilian refused to look at her and meet her until their wedding, seeing that he doesn't want her. She knew that she needs a plan to escape. I can't be all my life a burden for Maximilian Cruz and live like a weak human. Maybe that I am a human in a werewolf world, but I can do it. I can stand for myself. I am tired of relying on my family, so, on the day of the wedding she caught a bee and let it bite her on her face, so that Maximilian would be disgusted by her face, which in reality is beautiful. She knows too well what a man-whore Maximilian Cruz is. The whole world knows. Her clothes were simple, clean, but in a way that hides her thin body and made Maximilian think that she is not voluptuous enough for his taste, and all those decisions brought her here today. She was more than sure that Maximilian would never accept someone like her as his Luna. But she still tried. If only once Maximilian would have come home, he would have seen the real Meredith. But he chose to live like a man-whore, ignoring his wife. So, Max never came home. He put her in one of his houses and asked Auntie Jen to take care of her. Only his parents visit her, and his old grandpa, but Max is not interested in her. She is just a pathetic human who thought that marrying him would grab God by the foot. That is what he thinks. And that's the way it all started. An underage girl married the bachelor of the century and divorced in 6 months without seeing each other for more than 5 minutes all this time. Are you all right? James asks, opening his car door so that Meredith can walk in. Yeah, I am. I can't believe I'm free, James, said Meredith, almost crying. Mom and Dad shouldn't have insisted on this marriage, said James, hugging her. Please don't tell them what's happening. They will be upset. Tell them that there were irreconcilable differences between us. James smiles at her and starts the car. Where are you going now? Tell me and I will send you wherever you want in this world. And takes her hand in his hand. Paris, said Meredith, closing her eyes and dreaming of Parisian music and chocolate. I want to study design. I've always wanted, but I got stuck in New Moon Pack. Then, let's put you in a plane and give you some wings. It is time to learn to fly, sis. And her flight in life just started. But next day, on New Moon Pack House, Grandpa Cruz come in Maximilian's office, and entering angrily he asks him, what did you do to my granddaughters? What granddaughter, Grandpa? Maximilian asks, looking at the old man amused. You have only one grandchild. And that is me. Where is Meredith? Grandpa asks, and immediately Carter Cruz comes in. Dad, why are you yelling? You will get sick again, he says, and take the old man by his hand. But Grandpa is so furious as soon as he pushes Carter Cruz and says angrily, this brat divorced Meredith, and he didn't tell us. I didn't, Max said, and looking at them. He says, she divorced me and I have nothing to do with her decision. Nothing? Suddenly Lisa Cruz asks. Nothing. When was the last time you were home? When did you talk to her last time? When did you eat together, or when did you ever sleep in the same bed? But horror appeared on Maximilian's face just thinking about it. How could he sleep next to that woman with such a swollen and deformed face? It was her decision. She signed the papers and left. What would I have to do? Should I go look for her? And looking at his parents, he says firmly, that woman was not right to be my Luna. She is not the right material. And who is the right material? Carter Cruz asks his son, any of your whores, is my life, and I want to live it as I dreamed. Maximilian shouted at his parents. That was the most ugliest woman I've ever seen in my life. You can't force me to live with her, he says and gets nervous out of the office. Did they really divorce? Lisa asks with tears in her eyes. Yes, Grandpa said, snorting angrily. But he immediately looks at Carter and, thinking of something, begins to smile. Let this brat think it is all over. But mark my words, Carter. I won't lower my white hair into the grave until Meredith is not coming back. She is the perfect girl for him. Dad, calm down, please. I will run Plan B to make her his Luna. Just stay calm, Carter said, and take the old man out of Maximilian's office. Bring her home, Carter. Author's point of view. 5 years later. Bonjour, madame, James said, laughing, and taking Meredith in his arms. Oh my goddess, she yells, and puts her head on his chest, crying. I missed you so much. Let me see you. And frowning, he says, you are even thinner than before. What did these French people give you to eat? He says, squeezing his eyes. Isn't that logical? Chocolate and strawberries. Meredith tells him, and he immediately starts laughing. I can't believe you are back. I mean, almost back, but now you will live just 1 hour away from our pack, he says, and takes her in his arms again. Alpha James Quinn, Meredith said. You are a little emotional. Will you shut up? James tells her, frowning at her. You missed my alpha ceremony and my wedding. I shouldn't even talk to you. I am sorry, she said, and looking into his eyes she realized how much she missed her brother. I want you to meet someone, James said, and taking her luggage walks her out of the airport to his car, where a very beautiful blonde woman is waiting. But just before Meredith could say something, the woman takes her in her arms and yells in happiness. I am so happy to finally meet you. James talk all day long about you. James said. She is Lori, my mate and my Luna. But he doesn't have time to say that Lori immediately takes Meredith and drags her in the car on the back seat. What's the plan now? He asks her as soon as she gets in the car. I will start my new job tomorrow, and I will buy a lot of furniture, says Meredith. Are you sure you don't want to stay with us? Lori asks her. Mom and Dad will be glad to know that you are back. Please don't tell them for now. I will talk to them by myself. Let me keep it a secret for the moment. You didn't tell me, Where will you work? You keep it a secret. James tells her, looking at her. You will live in New Moon Pack territory. Isn't it a bit risky considering your past here? No one will recognize me. I am more than sure about that. And besides, I couldn't refuse such an offer, James. The territory of this pack is the largest in the U.S. And excepting my former in-law, which are rarely going out, and Auntie Jen, none knows my real face. So, where will you work? James asks her again, a little bit worried. Max Line's Design offered me the opportunity to work for them. They even gave me a scholarship during my studies at the University of Paris. And the condition was that when I finished my internship, I would work for them. What? James asks and brakes the car involuntarily, and then looks at Lori. James, are you trying to kill me? Meredith asks in panic. Sorry. It was a cat, he said, and looking again at Lori. He closed his eyes for a second and started to drive again. Do you know anything about Max Line's Design? She asks, trying to get acquainted with the concept. Not much. James lied. You know, James, I am really happy to be back home. I miss these places. And Meredith puts her forehead on the car window and looks outside at the endless forest through her childhood. Will you really be alone in the New Moon Pack? James asks suddenly. Don't worry. I am not anymore the girl that I was 5 years ago. Now I know what I want. And all I want is this fantastic job. I will be the chief of the design department. It is a dream come true. If something happens tomorrow, will you call me? James insists. I will, but please stop. You are scaring me. It is just a job. I like your dress, Lori said, trying to relax the situation and change the subject. She always had a good taste in clothes. But I never thought she would become a famous young designer, said James in a soft voice. I am just worried about you. You just came back, and I can't protect you if you stay here, James whispers. In the evening, in her almost empty apartment situated in the public area of New Moon Pack, where people live without knowing that they share the air with a pack of werewolves, she looks around and squeaks of happiness. My own house. I have my own house and I paid for it with my own money. I did it. I finally did it. A lot of boxes are all around her apartment. Is not big, only 2 bedrooms and a very large living room. But everything will be cozy, and everything will be gained by the work of her hands. Is not that she is ungrateful, but being a helpless and weak human in the midst of werewolves. She has always felt unworthy of the money her parents gave her. It was her deepest wish to succeed alone in life. She loves the werewolves' culture. And after she lived almost all her life with them, she can't stand humans anymore. In her heart, she is a werewolf. It is just about self-confidence and respect. No one said anything in front of her, being Alpha Quinn's daughter. But she saw their ugly looks and heard their discussions. She always was that human. And just thinking about this, she remembers her staying in New Moon Pack during her marriage with Maximilian. She tried even if it wasn't what she wanted. She did her part, but that scoundrel, who had been her husband for 6 months, didn't give her a chance because she was human. On their wedding day, Maximilian told her, I will never look at you. You are disgusting. I feel sick just looking at you. I can't refuse my parents. Meredith said. They gave me everything. If this marriage makes them happy, I am willing to give up my happiness for them. Don't lie to me, said Maximilian, almost spitting her on her face. Who would look at someone as ugly and useless as you? I am just a good deal for you. You can't fool me. But mark my word. In this life you will never catch me. And he turned his back and never came in front of her again. All because she was a human. But now she will be the human who managed to break into the world of werewolves. From now on, she will never accept being bullied into silence. She will never allow herself to be a victim. She will design her own life. Tomorrow is the new empty sheet of her life, and she can't wait to start drawing it. Meredith's Quinn point of view. One more look, and this time I am really going, or I will be late on my first day at work. I take my coffee, my laptop, my designs and portfolio, and run out of the house because the taxi is already starting as a clan of me. To the Max lines. Design, please. Are you working there? The driver asks me, looking at me in the rearview mirror. It is my first day there. I say, a little bit stressed. You will like the place. The drive continues. My daughter worked there, and she always said that is a great company. Did she say something about the boss of the company? I tried to find who runs the place, but it is almost impossible to find anything. He is a very rich businessman. He is a local, said the driver. And now I notice that he is as human as I am. He has a long name that I forgot, but he is very arrogant. My daughter was afraid of him. Is that so? I ask. Then I will avoid him. And in just 15 minutes, I entered the Max Lines design building, which is modern and imposing. In the lobby, a young woman gives me a visitor's card, and I am set directly to Human Resources Department. I like all I've seen. Since now, Miss Quinn, the chief of employees says, and receives me in her office. We are finally honored to have you among us. Madam, the pleasure is mine. I owe this company a large part of my successes. Maxline supported me abroad and invested in me, because we saw how valuable you are, Miss Quinn. Now let me show you the design department, and then I will ask you to take the elevator to the top floor. The boss wants to meet you, and I must say, this place is awesome. I have my own office and my own design desk, and the team is young, and seeing their work I can say that everything here will be perfect for me. Did you really live in Paris? one of the girls from my department asks me. Yes, for almost 5 years. I say, smiling at her, I've always dreamed of staying there. It's so romantic. I am Meredith, I say, holding out my hand. And I am Kara, she says. I am a junior designer here. I started last week. I am really glad that you came. I feel like an outsider not knowing anyone, she says, laughing. I know the feeling. And I started to laugh softly. You know what, Kara, wait for me at noon. If you want, we will eat together at the company's canteen. I would like to, she said, and I saw the happiness in her eyes. Now I need to meet the boss, I tell her jokingly, emphasizing the last words. I heard he is a bit serious and authoritarian. Do you think that I will survive this meeting? You will. And he is very handsome too. If he weren't a jerk, I'd ask him to marry me, says Kara, and we both start laughing. In this case, excuse me, please. I will go to meet your never-to-be husband. And laughing, I go to the elevator. But as soon as I got to the office door, I was shocked. What the fuck is going on in this office? I ask myself, hearing moans and a woman's voice that makes some farm-worthy sounds. Is he doing what I think he is doing? In his office? And I didn't even get to meet the bastard, because he already managed to piss me off. I sit on an armchair in the lobby, and I wait for him to finish. 1 fucking hour I stayed and listen, that woman cackle. But when the door opens, a woman that seems to be his secretary comes out, and seeing me, she starts to yell, "What are you doing here? Did you spy on us?" She asks and comes to me to slap me. What the fuck is wrong with her head? Staying in Paris, I did a lot of things, but one of the most important is that I learned self-defense. I practiced martial arts every day for the last 5 years, and now I have a black belt. So seeing how that woman tries to slap me, I catch her hand and turn her around, immediately making her scream in pain. What happens here? I suddenly hear my supposed boss talking nervously. Maxie. She almost broke my arm, yells the woman, because she tried to slap me for no reason. I say without looking at him, still watching this stupid woman, because she stayed and spied on us. Maxie. She yelled, that's it. I think I'll give her 1 punch in her face and leave her to faint. I did not. I say bluntly, and I look at the man who is already next to me and looks at me in shock. Who are you? He asks, looking at me perplexed. Is he kidding me? No. This must be a joke. I am the new chief designer, I say, looking him in the eye and waiting for him to tell me I have nothing to look for in his company. And do you like to listen to people's doors? He asks me, looking straight to my eyes. No. I answer without fear of him, because I know he'll kick me out anyway. I don't like to stay at people's doors and wait an hour when I am called to talk. And more than that, I totally dislike having to listen to the noise pollution that your esteemed girlfriend produces next to you. And I see him, almost smiling. Maxie. I hope you don't keep this jerk here. The nervous woman shouted. You can go, Veronica. He tells her, and looking at me, he signs me to come in. Ha, he wishes. And I just stay and don't move, and he turns to me and asks, are you deaf? Is it safe to enter this office? I ask him. Surely I don't get any sexually transmitted diseases? And immediately, he frowned and heard him growl, get in the office now. Fuck. The big alpha is in town. Yes, guys. My boss is my ex-husband, Alpha Maximilian Cruz, and he stays in front of me. In all his fucking glory, Maximilian's Cruz point of view. I need to find a way to make Veronica stop coming when I am at the office. She is my personal assistant. So personal that I know her perfectly both outside and inside her body. I pay her well, and she keeps her mouth shut and her legs open. And that is it. Love without obligations. She is one of my pack members, not too smart but good looking, for the goddess' sake. I am almost in my 30s, mateless, rich, and good looking. What should I do to become a monk? She just left after she took more than an hour from my time. And now I hear her screaming from the lobby. Stark. I will fire her. I can't stand her voice anymore. I say to my wolf, I can't stand her at all, and you know it. She is too low for my taste, said Stark with a growl. Don't be a princess, Stark. You were moaning a few moments ago. And I opened the door only to find a commotion right in front of me. A woman who is with her back on me. Almost beats Veronica. But I really don't care. What I care is that Stark yells something in my head, and I am too shocked to contradict him. Mate. I hear him saying, mate? She is my mate? I look at her carefully, and it doesn't take me even 2 seconds to realize she is human. She is not our mate, Stark. She is human. I tell him without moving and looking at her as she almost breaks Veronica's hand. She is ours. She is our mate. And if you will not accept the fact, I will force you to accept her, and I will imprint myself on her. Yells Stark. Smell her. She is our mate, he kept saying. And she really smells divine. Like strawberries and vanilla, smelling her. I look at her once more and try to make my presence felt. What is going on? I ask, but she looks at Veronica, who is still blabbering about spying us. Maxie. She almost broke my arm. Yells Veronica, and looks at me with pleading eyes to save her. What the fuck, man? She is a werewolf, and she is beaten by our human mate. Stark asks, furious. How can Veronica be so weak? But I don't have time to think about anything else. Because I hear her, the voice that anoints my soul. Because she tried to slap me for no reason. Says the woman still without looking at me. Because she stayed and spied on us, Maxie. Veronica yelled, Max, make her shut the fuck up or I will beat her. Stark said, completely annoyed, but suddenly, the woman who seems to be my mate, takes the lead, and turning to me says, I did not. She says bluntly, and she looks at me in shock as if she saw a ghost. Who are you? I ask her, looking at her perplexed. She is the most beautiful woman I have ever seen. She must be somewhere at 5.9 feet. And she is dressed decent in a beautiful light mint green midi dress that highlights her perfect figure. She is not voluptuous, but her shapes are perfect. She is gorgeous. I didn't know that women wearing Labounton shoes are so sexy. Her brown hair is slightly wavy and falls from her shoulders to the waist. But at the moment I can't take my eyes off her. Her blue eyes are so clear that I lose focus looking at her, and her mouth is so plumy that I feel the need to kiss her. On her little nose I can see a few pickles. She is like a living doll. And looking at her and at my reaction, I realize that she is really my mate. We found her, Max. You found our mate, Stark is howling in my head, and I just can't concentrate anymore. I immediately send Veronica and signal her to enter the office. But I take only a few steps in surprise. She is not moving. Are you deaf? I ask her, completely annoyed. I am an alpha, and I am used to it happening when I say something. This is like messing with people. They are temperamental, they don't have that respect for an alpha, but just when I thought I made her follow me, the lightning struck me. Is it safe to enter this office? She asks me. Surely I don't get any sexually transmitted diseases? And immediately, I felt my blood boiling in my veins and heard Stark growl, Get in the office, now? I signal her to come in, only to see her very skeptical, as if intentionally trying to annoy me, and she just looks around in disgust. Where can I stay? She asks me. Are you sure that I will not get some? Sit on the chair now. I say to her, and she is not even blinking while I yell at her. Calm down, Maximilian. I say to myself, she is your mate, but she doesn't know about it. She is human and she is not feeling your struggle. Calm down. I look at her as she looks into my eyes and she doesn't sketch anything. I open her CV and immediately tell her, Meredith Quinn. This name sounds familiar. Did we meet before? No, Mr. Cruz. But you pay for my studies in Paris. Maxline offered me a scholarship. That is probably why my name is known to you. She tells me immediately. I had nothing to do with those scholarships that my father offered as facilities for students. The strange thing is that I really feel that I met her before. You would have known if you had met such a beautiful girl, Max. Stark said. You know what? Just shut up and woo her. What do you do besides listening to people's door? I ask her arrogantly just to annoy her as she annoyed me earlier. Today, for example. I intend to quit from Maxline Design, she says, and immediately gets to her feet and walks to the door without looking at me. What is she talking about? Catch her, Stark yells, and almost transforms. But I manage to control him and catch her before she comes out from my office, and I hold her in my arms. What are you doing, Mr. Cruz? She asks in a harsh tone while I pin her to the door. You can't quit, I say, growling. I don't want to be here anymore, she said, pursing her lips. Fuck. I want to kiss her. If you choose to leave Maxlines, you must pay the scholarship back, and also some compensation. In 2 days, I say, desperately inventing an excuse to force her to stay. I can't work with a perv that is having sex in his office while his employee are working. I really need to get out from here, said the woman. I mean Meredith, my mate, but right now I think that I suddenly become stupid. Because I ask her, are you jealous? Do you say that I must pay all the money in 2 days? She asks me, changing the subject and making my heart stop. Does she intend to give me my money back and just leave? Yes. $5 million in 2 days. I tell her, grinning. She looks at me while I cling to her body and continue to hold her in my arms, but hearing what I said, she yells in shock, lifting her knee and hitting me directly in my groin, making me bruise in pain. $5 million. Are you nuts, Mr. Cruz? But I can't say anything. She broke my balls. Max's point of view. I stay like a dumbass, holding my balls in my hand and swearing at all the saints while she is looking at me with her arms on her chest. Why did you do that? I ask her, and I almost feel like strangling her. Hit you in the balls? It just happened, she says, as it would be nothing. I can't do it. Stark, I am sorry. Let me reject her. She is out of her mind if she just hit her new boss in his balls, and she laughs in my face. No. Stark said, growling at me. I want her. I didn't wait 30 years just to reject my mate, but she is crazy, and just look at her. I can say that she wants to kill me for some reason. I don't even know. I call him annoyed. You know what, Max? You have no choice in this. Accepting her is only my decision, and you have nothing to do about it. Don't make me imprint on her. Don't try anything or I'll make your life an ordeal. I do not agree with this. My Luna will not be a weak human. Mark my words, Maximilian Cruz. Stark said. Just like I have no say in who you choose to sleep with. You can't do anything when I tell you she is the one I want, and he is right. As a werewolf, only your wolf can choose or accept his mate, and when your mate is human, he can choose to imprint on her, making her feel the need to approach him. As people say, he can cast spells on her to love him. I still stand in front of her, with one hand resting on the door, fixed next to her head, and one hand massaging my broken balls. I close my eyes, trying to breathe normally, and calm down. And when I finally feel calm, I look at her and say, Meredith, Miss Quinn for you, Mr. Cruz, she said, looking defiantly at me. What did I do wrong to this human being? Miss Quinn, I think we started in the wrong way. And moving away from her just a little bit, I stretch out my hand to her and say, I am Maximilian Cruz, CEO of Maxlines Design, and your boss. I am glad to have you here, but this woman completely ignores me and lets me sit with my hand outstretched. I am not happy anymore to be here. I hear her whispering to herself, thinking no one hears her, but immediately, she seems to feel something and looks at me in panic. Does she know? I heard her? Impossible. She is human. She has no idea that werewolves exist, and seeing that I don't get anywhere with her, I try to approach her differently. I can accept your resignation if you pay the $5 million in 2 days. Otherwise, we have nothing to discuss. Maxline paid for your studies with some conditions to work for us, and she is just looking at me without saying anything. But I am convinced that at this moment, all the curses in the world are running in her mind. Mr. Cruz, I know how much my studies cost. Are you kidding me? Where did you get those millions of dollars from? She tells me, squeezing her eyes and shooting arrows at me. Miss Quinn, I say to her, no matter what happened today, and made you not want to work with Maxline. I am sure it can be corrected. You can't deny that Maxline is one of the top design companies in the world. I will think about. She says simply and looks into my eyes, making me shiver. But just when I want to say something else, the door opens and Meredith ends up in my arms, almost kissing me. And I feel those tingles about I heard that exist. Fuck. The bond is already more active than I thought. What are you doing with my Maxie? Veronica yells, trying to get into the office. And she is out of bounds right now. Maxie, why were you kissing her? She says. Don't you want me anymore? Holy fucking shit. This can't happen. Meredith is looking at Veronica and says nothing. Then looking at me, she tells me, do you want a serious reason? Look at it, and points her finger to Veronica. I told you it was a bad idea to go around with this madwoman. Stark says, full of rage, but immediately Veronica rushes back to Meredith and tries to slap her on the face. But this time I am the one that stops her. Veronica, I say in a commanding voice, making her fear. Maybe I fucked her, but she is nobody in my life. Get the fuck out of here. I look at Meredith, and she is squeezing her eyes again. And coming out of the office, I hear her laughing at me. For a CEO, you are not a picky eater. Who would have thought that someone like you could walk with someone like her? And she starts laughing, leaving me speechless. Did he just suggest that I have bad tastes in women? Yes. And she is right. Go after her, Stark yells at me. I tried to get out and catch her until the elevator doors closed. But Veronica immediately grabbed my hand and stopped me. Maxie, that woman is too much. She is so naughty. Does she really have to work here? She asks me, why did I start to fuck this woman? I always knew that she had no brain in her head, and I am a guy who adores smart and beautiful women. Veronica, for the last time, please get out. I am busy. And I go back to the office trying to figure out what happened, but I remember something, and one more thing. Never enter my office if I didn't call you. Maxie, she yells, I am Mr. Cruz for you. I say, and I immediately remember that this is the same thing Meredith told me earlier, and I just smile remembering her. I see how Veronica finally leaves the office, and I breathe a sigh of relief. She is human. Stark. I don't know how to deal with humans. She doesn't even know that there are werewolves in the world where she lives. What am I going to do with her? This is a bad idea. She will accept us. If the moon goddess made her for us, she will accept us. She is crazy. Don't you see that she is sassy and too annoying? I ask him angrily. I like her, but I don't know how to deal with humans. All my life I've run away from them like hell, but as soon as I made up my mind to stay away from Meredith Quinn, even provoking Stark, my good friend called me James Quinn. What an honor. I tell him laughing, the honor is on my side as usual. James said, we have been friends since high school. And even if I was married to his ugly human sister, he never blamed me for the divorce. As if that woman whose name I don't even remember would have told her anything I did. I saw her only once, and her face was so deformed and swollen that I felt sick. She was the only human in my life. And I swore it would be the last one. Is everything fine? He asks, and I don't know where he wants to go with the discussion. But I feel the need to talk to someone, so I tell him, no man. I've just met one of my new employees and she fucked up my day. What? And I feel that he is very agitated. Tell me about it. What did I start with, James? Meredith Quinn, human, 23 years old. My new chief designer, sassy and brave, damn beautiful. I never saw anyone as beautiful as her. I say, and James starts laughing. Keep going. Not interesting. She is beautiful, James. But at the same time, she is the most dickhead woman I have ever seen. In 15 minutes, she almost broke Veronica's hand, hit me in my balls and filled my head with jitters, and James starts laughing out loud, as if I were telling him the best joke in the world. I don't know who this woman is and where she came from, but she hates me. I swear to you. I call him nervous. Don't you really know her? He asks me as if amazed. I swear. I don't know who she is. It seems familiar to me, but I am sure I've never seen her. And after a few seconds, I asked him, do you want to know what the icing on the cake is? Shock me even though I don't know what else you can tell me. And James can't help but laugh. She is my mate, and I hear a simply fuck. And the phone tone is gone. Author's point of view. What are you doing? Laurie asks, looking at James. You look like you've just seen the big bad wolf. You could say that too, James says, looking at the phone in his hand. Stallion. Did he say that Mur was his mate, or did I go crazy? He asks his wolf in horror. Call him and ask him one more time. Stallion says agitatedly. If he is, we are doomed, my love. You are acting strange. What is happening with you? Laurie asks again. But this time James takes her and puts her in his lap and signals to her to calm down. He takes his phone and calls Max again, putting him on the speaker so that Laurie can hear it too. Max. Sorry. I accidentally dropped the phone on the floor. James tells him and then looks at Laurie. I didn't understand what the icing on the cake was. My new employee, Meredith Quinn, is my fated mate. Max says again, snorting at the other end of the phone. Laurie is shocked and immediately puts her hand to her heart and mimics a shocked, what? As big as Empire State's buildings, but she is human, you said, James says, and tries to recover from the shock. Humans and werewolves are not usually combinations as mates, but an alpha and a human is even more rare. Only 2 or 3 cases are known in recent history. I know, man. And she is driving me crazy. How can I explain to a human that I am a werewolf, and that she must sleep with me because some goddess in the sky that she has never heard wants so? Mate, not sleep, Max. It is not the same thing. James says, a little disturbed by the way Max sees the idea of a bondmate. Is more than sleeping with her. It's about making her your everything. He says as he looks in Laurie's eyes and kisses her lightly. Stark wants her. But I'm not sure about this. What should I do with a helpless human? What are you going to do? James asks, becoming more and more alarmed. I will ignore her to the point where Stark will put his paws on me and I will have nothing else to do than accept her. But I still hope he changes his mind. That jerk threatened me that he would imprint himself on her. Laurie caresses James's face and whispers in his ear. I like Stark. He's not a big bad boy as his bad half, Max, and James starts to laugh. Max, James said after a while, take care about what you are doing. Even if she is human, and sassy and annoying, always provoking you and getting the worst out of you, she is still your mate. You talk like you know her. Max tells her with a laugh. But James has a little more and goes crazy, just wondering what will happen when Meredith finds out that Max is her mate. And most of it when Max will find out that his mate is no one other than his ex-wife. You described her to me well enough to understand what is going on. And trying to help his friend, but at the same time driven by his deep love for Meredith, he tells Max one more time, the mate bond is beyond our comprehension. But believe me, Max, it is the most perfect thing in the world. But after he ends the call, Laurie is looking at him with her mouth open. She will break his balls if she finds out that Max is her mate. She already did it. Do you think we should guard him? James asks, laughing. Will you tell her? Suddenly Laurie asks him, looking into his eyes and trying to understand what is in his mind. No. Laurie asks in astonishment. It's their business. And I will never interfere in someone else's mate bond, even if she is my little sis. In addition, Stark wants Mur, and he is a fantastic wolf. Even if Max is a man-whore, and did not give Mur any chance when they were married. But I will just watch, so that things do not degenerate. Mur is different now, Laurie said. She is beautiful, and at this moment she is no longer the weak human girl. She is chief in a big company, talented and strong. She is going to stretch Max's skin on the wire. That is what he needs, Laurie. He doesn't even know that his ex-wife's name is Meredith Quinn. Let him pay for his stupidity, my goddess. Karma will hit him directly in the face, said Laurie, and she is looking at James. Watch them. They are so alike even if they don't know. But meanwhile, in New Moon Pack House Pack, Grandpa Cruz asks his son, Carter, Did my girl come back? Of course she did. She is working at the company already. And laughing continued. She'll have the shock of her life when she sees who is her boss. Do you think it will work? Grandpa Cruz asks, looking worried at Carter Cruz. It is mandatory. Or I will invent Plan C. If Plan B doesn't work either. That girl is the Luna of this pack no matter what Max wants. They secretly divorced, so we wouldn't find out. But I took care of everything. And now she is back. Max will be mad hearing that she is back. Grandpa said, he won't. That stupid son of mine didn't even recognize her when I put the scholarship file in front of him. He signed without acknowledging it. I told him her name dozens of times and he didn't react in any way. And Grandpa nods, disapprovingly. Maybe she is his ex-wife, but I don't want another daughter-in-law. She is the only choice for him, and he will learn to love her, or I will beat his ass. That girl is a jewel, Carter says. You did it well, son. Now let's watch them. This will be the best live movie I've ever seen, says Grandpa Cruz and pats Carter on the shoulder. You did it well. Let's bring the girl back home. Author's point of view. So tell me, Kara asks Meredith as they sit in the canteen of the company. How did you get from Paris to the New Moon Pack? And immediately Kara's face becomes red. I mean in here. Near Vancouver, she is trying to change the topic because Kara has just realized that Meredith is a human. Her alpha will take her head if he finds out that she talked about werewolves so freely to a human. Kara, Meredith said, looking straight in her eyes and feeling that she is worthy of her trust. I know. You know what? Kara asks her in a panic. About you being a werewolf. About what this place is and how Maximilian Cruz is. Don't worry. I won't talk about it, but you can talk about everything you want. And you are not running in fear being in the wolf den? Kara asks in shock. No. And don't ask me why, because this is something I don't want to talk about. Meredith tells her, then let me ask you something else. And Kara looks at her, finding that Meredith is not just gorgeous, but also gives her a good vibe with her presence. How do you know about werewolves? You want to know, don't you? Meredith laughs. I'll tell you, but then I'll have to kill you. And they both start laughing. All my life I stayed with them. And Kara is looking at her with her mouth open, like living with them, in a pack, she asks. Yep. It is just as you said, Meredith said, looking at the menu. Where? Kara asked. But Meredith answered with a laugh. I can't tell you more at this moment. Will you mind? But seeing Kara's face, she just tells her. It is a sad story and I will tell you another day. Tell me about you. How is that an Omega works as a designer in a company? You really know everything, isn't it? Kara asks her and lets her head down. My mate rejected me because I was just a poor Omega. But my Luna found out and she helped me to move from our pack house and find something to work on. I live here, in the town, in this public area of Vancouver. My Luna asked Alpha Max to let me work here. He was opposed at the beginning because my mate is one of his men, but he couldn't refuse his mom. Luna Lisa has her ways and always gets what she wants. She is very sweet, of course she is. Meredith knows it very well. Lisa and Carter Cruz, along with Grandpa Cruz, were the one who visited her every weekend when she was married to their son. She is a very good Luna. I've heard a lot of things about her, Meredith said, but looking at how sad Kara is, she smiles at her and tells her, you know what, Kara? You have me now. I know that I am your chief, but at the same time I can be your friend if you need one. Are you for real, Meredith Quinn? Kara asks, feeling very happy after so much time. Yes, I mean it, Meredith said. And if you want, after work we can go out and shop and do all the things that women usually do. I only have my sister-in-law nearby, and I am as lonely as you. Yes, let's do it. And Kara jumps up with happiness. I want all these things that you are talking about. And she jumps out of her chair and takes Meredith in her arms, making her laugh. But she doesn't even get to say anything that immediately next to them. No one but Max Cruz can be heard. What are you doing? He asks, looking at the two women like some circus. Immediately Kara's face turns white. Max allowed her to work here only if she didn't cause him any problems. and she can't help but wonder if her friendship with a human will bring her more problems. What does it look like we are doing? Meredith asks without looking at him, and starts flipping through the menu, ignoring Max. Did you bring me here just to be ignored by this woman? Stark? He asks his wolf, but receives only a growl in return. He looks around, and all his employees are looking at him. This is the first time he has put his foot down in the canteen. So what is going on? People ask themselves. Have you changed your mind? He asks Meredith, ignoring the looks. About what? She asks, looking up at him. Fuck. Stark, he whispers. Just a look from her and his heart is startling. Skipping a beat, and he almost forgot what he meant. Will you stay in Max Line Design? Or do you still insist on leaving? What? Kara asks, almost crying. But Meredith smiles at her, and then she said, stabbing Max with her words, I will stay. I found something very valuable after the garbage from this morning. You know, maybe you want to thank Kara for convincing me to stay. Maybe a pay raise. It's your choice. But Max just looks at her and sees how she ignores him. And this is annoying him at most. So full of nerves, he takes the menu from her hand and hits the floor with it, shocking those around him. Mr. Cruz, you look a little stressed. Something happened. Meredith asks him, smiling sweetly while he feels like squeezing her neck. And even when he wants to say something, he hears a voice behind him that is already giving him nightmares. Maxie, what are you doing here? Veronica asks in horror. This place is for pores. But when she sees who is sitting at the table with Max, her face becomes so ugly that Max can't help but wonder what he saw in this woman. You again, she yells at Meredith. Oh my God, Meredith said, and looking at Kara, she is waving to her to leave the place. But as soon as she tries to get up from her chair, Max grabs her hand and shakes her. We are not done yet, he says. I need to talk with you about something. Maxie? Veronica yells in his ears. Kara's heart is as little as a flea when she sees Meredith defying Max. But she is even more panicked by the presence of Veronica, who made her life a nightmare both in the pack and in company. Yes. I mind. I need to work, Meredith said, and tries to release her hand from Max's grip. Miss Quinn. Max said, dragging her towards him so hard that Meredith unintentionally becomes unbalanced and falls into his lap. But seeing this, Veronica sees Reed just as a bull. Triple-A, she yelled. You whore. You put your hand on a taken man. And in just a second, she rushed to Meredith, trying to slap her. But she slaps Kara, who is putting herself in her way as soon as she sees her intentions. What the fuck are you doing, woman? Max asks, putting Meredith on her feet and running to help Kara. Are you nuts? Why did you hit her? I was trying to hit that whore. Not this stupid Omega. Veronica yells without caring that Meredith is a human, and normally has no idea what an Omega is. Max takes Veronica by her arms, pulling her hard and making her scream, and looking at Kara. He easily panics. Are you all right? How can she be all right? Meredith asks, her face is swollen, because of that mad dog that is hanging on you. You. Veronica yells again, trying to hit Meredith again. But Max just looks at her and dragged her out of the canteen, kneeling near Kara. She takes her face in her hand. Why did you do that? That woman is a beta. Why did you put in front of me? Meredith asks her, almost crying. She would have hurt you worse than me. I will heal eventually, Kara said, crying. Come. And Meredith took her in her arms and went to her office under the watchful eyes of her colleagues. Good, she said to herself. Now everyone knows the new girl. Author's point of view. Veronica, stop, Max said, on the verge of a nervous breakdown. Why, Maxie? Why are you always with that woman? She asked, humming and pretending to be hurt. Because she is my fucking mate. That's why, Max would like to say in front of her. But to tell her that would mean putting the posse after Meredith's trace, and he doesn't even know if she'll ever be his mate in the true sense of the word. Why risk that woman's safety? Looking at Veronica carefully, he realizes that no matter what he does, Veronica has no right to behave like that. What is the point of this whole circus, Veronica? He asks her, but, like a sly fox, Veronica starts to walk past Max, trying to seduce him as usual. "Maxie," she said, placing her hands on his chest and beginning to kiss him on the cheek. "That employee of yours is too disrespectful, and she is always with you. It's the second time I see you with her on the same day," she said, pursing her lips and letting some light love bites on his neck. "And why do you care?" Suddenly Max asks and pushes her away from him, shocking her. "Because you are mine. We've been together for 3 years, and this never happened. When the hell did 3 years go by with this madwoman?" He asks himself, moving away from her. Max walks over and sits down at his desk, leaving Veronica speechless. Did he really not want to be with her anymore? A single touch and he was always at her feet. "I believe that 3 years is a lot of time," Max said, looking into her eyes without mimicking any trace of emotion. "You think so?" Veronica asks, and smiling at the thought that maybe he has finally decided to make her as his Luna. "Yes. Maybe too much considering there is nothing serious between us," Max says suddenly, making her almost fall off her feet. "What?" she asks, yelling with all her lungs. "Are you breaking up with me?" "It seems so." But this time he is not even looking at her. "But I love you," she tells him in a very carrying voice. "Veronica." "That is enough," Max said, but immediately Veronica lunges at him and actually jumps on him. "No, you are mine," she yells and cries at the same time. "We are meant to be together, Sam," he yells through MindLink. "Come in my office or I will kill your sister." "What the fuck, man?" Sam Jackson says and starts to run to Max's office, opening the door in a panic. "What are you doing here, Veronica?" Sam asks his sister. "Sam." "Max is breaking up with me." Veronica starts to cry. "But we have never been together. What don't you understand?" Max says, already completely irritated. "Do you want to stop this whole circus?" I do not want to." "It is all because of that human, isn't it? She is new, and being human is like something exotic for you. Just fuck her and come back to me," she said as if this would be something normal. "Veronica." Sam yells at her. "Leave the office or you will never be able to put your feet here." But Veronica frowns at him. And then, turning to Max, begins to beg him. "I am suitable to be your Luna. Think about it, please." She is still trying to convince him. "Sam, get her out." Suddenly Max orders him angrily, and his beta immediately grabs his sister's hand and drags her after him. "One more thing, Veronica. If you just try to touch her or anyone else in this company, I will take you not only out of my life but out of this pack too," he said, pointing to her with his finger. "You wouldn't dare do that," Veronica says, laughing. "You love me, but now you are confused." "Sam, kick her out. I don't want to see her again," said Max, and rising from his chair he angrily slammed everything on the desk. "She is here only for 1 day. And look what happens. I had peace in my mind until Meredith Quinn appeared here." "That wasn't peace," Stark said. "It was a fornication thing that you've been doing for years." "I don't want this woman, Stark. She only brings trouble," Max says, confused. But Stark doesn't even notice him. "What was that, man?" Sam asks back in the office. "Your fucking sister tried to beat my new chief designer, and not once but twice. This time she hurt Kara Lewis in her attempt to reach her target." "What?" Sam asks and his hands are trembling. "How is she?" And immediately he feels that his heart is going mad, but when he catches his breath he calms down. "I have no reason to care what happens to Kara," Sam said in his mind, and his wolf approves. Why would he care about her? He just rejected her. How does he, a beta, have as his mate a bitter omega? People will laugh of him. She is fine. Just some bruises and a swollen cheek, and turning with his back at Sam, he puts his hands on his temples, massaging them a little. "I am doomed, Sam." And without preparing it, he drops the bomb on Sam. "That designer is also human, and she is my mate. Are you kidding me?" Sam asks and comes near Max, watching him carefully, because he is sure this is a prank. "I wish it was a joke. But the least funny part is that Stark wants her as his mate." "Of course I want her, you idiot," Stark said. "I want my fated mate. Reject her. It is not hard to do. I rejected Kara because she is not worthy to be my mate. I am a beta. How can I have an omega next to me? He asks, compared to me. Kara was in the luxury category. I have a weak human on my head. This is because you divorced that wife of yours. Now your mate is a human, Sam said laughing. Yeah, it is true, but this one is really beautiful. Max says, contemplating her face in his mind, you must find a way to reject her. She is not suitable for our pack. It will take her a lifetime to accept the idea that we are werewolves. How, Sam? Tell me how, because Stark wants her. Max almost yells, we will watch this human every day, and we will find reasons to make Stark hate her. I am sure we'll find something about her that will make Stark change his mind. And holding out his hand, Max grabs it and slaps it. I knew I could count on you. He tells Sam, of course you can. Sam tells him, let's start the mission, how to reject your mate. And they both laugh hard, but on the other hand, Veronica listens in shock, peeking out the door. That human is his fated mate? She asks herself, I must get rid of her. And immediately her fists clenched and her eyes reddened with rage. I will kill her. Nobody will deprive myself of the title of the Luna. This title will be mine, author's point of view. In the evening, just before to leave at home, Meredith looks at Kara's face and asks her, why don't you take a day off? This wound will look even worse tomorrow. I can't, Alpha Max will be mad if I don't come to work. And she lowered her head. She knows very well that tomorrow everyone will look at her face and no makeup will be able to hide the marks left by Veronica. But all she has right now is this job. She can't lose it. I will take care of this. Don't worry. I am your superior, and if Maximilian Cruz will try anything against you, he will talk to me. Please stay home tomorrow and take care of you. Meredith said and smiled at her. Are you really sure? I don't want to make things difficult for you, Kara asks, completely overwhelmed that someone wants to help her. Except for Lisa Cruz, nobody cared about her. Even her parents neglect her. You know what? Meredith asks her. I will take you home. Meredith, I don't want to bother you, Kara says, shocked. Meredith looks like a very refined woman, and somehow she looks noble. Even if she is just a human, she inspires confidence, while Kara knows that she is just a poor omega that struggles every day to survive away from her pack house. It is impossible for her to stay in the same place where her ex-mate lives like a man-whore. Kara, I know that you are alone, and believe me, even if it doesn't look so, I am just as you are. My luck is that I have a family that loves me, Meredith tells her and smiles. Wait for me. I will take my purse and we will go together. And tomorrow after work, if you want, I will visit you. I want to. Kara said with tears in her eyes. I really need a friend. And in 5 minutes, both women were in the company lobby, waiting for the driver that James sent after Meredith, because he can't appear here to expose his sister. But just as the car arrives and the driver opens the door for Kara to enter the car, Sam appears out of nowhere and, seeing the scene in front of him, freezes. Where are you going? He asks without realizing it. Speaking before his brain realizes what he is doing, hearing him in her back, Kara whitens her face and immediately panics. She is afraid of him. This is why she couldn't even accept the rejection, because she was so scared when Sam found out that they were mates that she fainted. But turning her face to him and seeing her face, Sam felt that his heart was pierced with pain. She is beautiful even if she is an omega, and she looks just perfect. And she is all he wants in a woman, but he can't accept someone as weak as his mate. Her eyes are red from crying, and one of her eyes is already bruised. Fuck, he said to himself. Veronica must be insane if she tried to hit the human with such a force. But looking at Kara's face, he can't stand but asks her, Are you all right? Kara just blocks in track and can't even breath. The smell of Sam, his mere presence, makes her suffer. Why does he come to the company? Ever since she started working here, Sam has been coming every day. Why doesn't he leave her alone? Kara always wonders. I asked you something, said Sam. starting to get nervous when he saw her looking at him scared. But he immediately realized something. Where the hell are you going with this car? It's an expensive car. She will never have money for such a luxury. But listening to the whole scene, Meredith gets out of the car and looking at Sam swears at him in her heart. This fucking scoundrel, she said. Why are you yelling at my colleague? She asks him, knowing exactly who she is talking to. It is not your business. Sam answers angrily. Oh, but it is. My friend, it seems to me that she doesn't want to talk to you, so I don't understand what is with this attitude. Are you her boss? Meredith asks him. Sam clenches his fist and sees black in front of his eyes. He just wants to know where Kara is going. Did she find someone else after he rejected her? So you are not her boss, Meredith said. Are you her lover? She asks him, and Kara is looking at her and goes straight near Meredith and says slowly, let's go. We will have problems. And she grabs her hand slowly. But Meredith has other plans, so you are not even her lover. So what right do you have to hold her accountable? She asks Sam, who looks shocked at her courage. Sam is a head bigger than her, and is at least twice her weight. He is all full of muscles and looks a lot like Chris Hemsworth. Why isn't she afraid of him? Please, Kara said again. And this time Meredith signals to her to enter the car, and they immediately start leaving Sam speechless. Did she really steal our mate? Leo, his wolf, asks. She's not our mate anymore. Sam said, feeling annoyed about this. Even if he doesn't understand why he feels like this, he was the one who rejected Kara until she accepts the rejection. She is still our mate, Leo said. Fuck. How could I forget about that? I will force her to accept the rejection. He put it in his mind, and he starts swearing and punches the wall angrily. Why was Kara in that expensive car? Is she going on a date or something like this? Fuck. I can't stay like this. I must go after her. He asks and goes to his car. Why are you looking like the train hit you? Max asks, laughing, while he comes out of the building. Someone stole Kara, he said, pissed off. And why do you care? Max asks him, looking at him as if he has gone crazy. I think she is going on a date or something, because she got in an expensive car with a damned human woman that annoyed me terribly, says Sam, punching the wall again. What did she look like? Max asks. Kara. She was really hurt, man. My sister really hit her hard, Sam says regretfully. No. The human, said Max. Brunette, long and lightly curled hair. Blue eyes. I don't know, man. I was looking at Kara. Fuck. It's her, Sam. Meredith Quintui, Max said, looking straight into Sam's eyes. Your mate? He asks with his mouth watering, completely amazed. The one and only. And Max looks at him and asks, are you sure? They were going on a date? They got into a Bentley Continental GT Max. I don't think a designer who studied due to the Max Line scholarship in Paris can afford such a car. Sam says agitatedly. Fuck. How come I didn't think of that? I am an idiot, Max says, and looking at Sam he says, panicked, go to the Human Resources Department and ask for Meredith Quinn's resume. What if she is married, Sam? Shit. Stark said in a panic. Tell him to go right now. What happened to you? Sam asks because he is not understanding Max. Didn't you say you didn't want her? I said that she is weak and human, and until Stark decides what to do with her, I want her. He said in a panic. Are you stupid, Max? Stark asks angrily. What is it about to decide for? I want her. Go now, said Max in a very commanding tone. This is not good, he said to himself. This is not good at all. Author's point of view. Did you bring it? Max asks, pausing after walking in circle for half an hour in the office, completely agitated and chewing his nails in stress. I have it. Sam tells him, and gives him the envelope from the Human Resources Department. Max takes the envelope and quickly unwraps it, almost tearing it in two. But he doesn't notice that the door opens and Luke Navarro, his gamma, enters the office, seeing their pale and agitated faces. He looked at each of them and asked slightly in a panic, "What is going on?" But Max ignores him and immediately starts reading Meredith's resume. "He found his mate," Sam said. "This is wonderful, man." Luke said, smiling, but seeing Max's face, he looks at Sam and asks him again, "Isn't it wonderful?" "No. On the contrary, it is awful, Luke." And sighing and taking a desperate attitude, he says, "She is human. Can you believe it?" Luke looks at Sam and then at Max, wondering if they're somehow stupid. "So what if she is human?" he asks them. "She is weak," Sam said, and looks at Max, who is starting to swear now. "I think you are wrong," Luke tells her. "If the moon goddess paired her with Max, she is not." Shit. 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 Suddenly Max said and tore the document in dozens of dishes. "What the fuck are you doing?" Sam asks him. "She is a leftover," Max says contemptuously. "My mate is a weak human, and more than that, she is divorced." And almost having a heart stroke, he looks at Sam and Luke and said, "I don't want her. I will never accept her." "You are divorced too," Luke said, looking at him. "Don't you think you are a jerk thinking about her in this way? You don't even know what happened?" he asks. "It is different, and you know it. I had nothing to do with that woman. For the goddess' sake, I don't even know her name," he says, actually screaming. "I can't even reject Meredith Quinn, because she is human and knows nothing about werewolves. She will think I am crazy. If you were in my situation, and your fated mate would be dead, you will never think this way," Luke said. Sam looks at Max and has a lot in his own minds and leaves, going directly to Kara's studio. But surprise, she is not at her place. Don't ask how he knows where Kara lives. He just knows. Seeing that she is not at home, Sam panicked. She really is on a date. Will she accept his rejection? And he started to panic. "It is like you didn't want her," Leo tells him. "I don't want her." Sam starts sneaking around. "She is a pack member, and it is my duty to take care of everyone." "If you say so," Leo said, amused. "What do you want, Leo?" Sam asks, completely confused. "I do not want anything. The question is, what do you want?" And he just looks at Kara's door, knocking in it again and again, until an old lady come out from another apartment. "Stop knocking. You will put down her door. She is not here. She took a luggage and left." "What are you talking about?" Sam asks the old woman. "Just stop knocking on her door." "She is not there." And the woman closed the door. "She left?" He asks and feels for the first time in his life that he will die in panic. But meanwhile, in Meredith's apartment, in her living room, she stays with Kara and eat their dinner. "Are you sure about this?" Kara asks. "I don't want to be a burden for you." "I am sure," said Meredith, smiling. "I have this spare room, is not big but is enough for both of us to stay in this apartment." The truth is that after she saw the poverty in which Kara lived, she was so sad that she decided to ask her to be her roommate. This was luxury for Kara, and she felt in heaven here, without knowing that somewhere in her pack Sam was having a tantrum, because of her, breaking everything around him. And while they were having their dinner, suddenly Meredith's phone ringed. "Where are you?" She hears Max's voice at the other end of the call. She knows the voice too well, so she scolds him in her heart and asks as serene as she can be, "Who are you?" Refraining from laughing, "I am Maximilian Cruz." "What do you mean, who I am?" said Max, on the verge of a breakdown. "How do you have my number?" She asks him direct. "I am your boss. It is normal to have your number and call you whenever I have an emergency." Max says arrogantly. "Mr. Cruz," Meredith said, making Kara's mouth to remain open. "I am off schedule now. You can tell me what you want tomorrow." And without thinking, she hung up the phone. Was that Maximilian Cruz? Kara asked, completely panicked. Yep, he was. And the phone rings again. Looking at the number that is calling her, she squeezes her eyes and asks, "Yes, who is it? Why did you end the call?" Max asks in fury. "Oh, it's you again." and she ends the call, annoying him even harder than before. And the put on mute the phone, seeing that Max is still calling her. Aren't you afraid of being kicked out? Kara asked Meredith. This is my wish. But I have to pay him $5 million if I leave, so it is better to be fired. Meredith said with a loud laugh. But immediately looking at Kara's face, she asks her, what about Sam Jackson? You know him? Kara asks in shock. Not personally since today. But yes, I know him. He is the one who rejected me. Kara said, and looks down with tears in her eyes. He is very possessive for someone who rejected you, said Meredith. And then analyzing Kara, she concluded. You didn't accept his rejection, did you? No. He was so furious when he found out that I am his mate that I fainted with horror. When I woke up, he was no longer there. Luna Lisa found me, and after she found out what happened, helped me to move away from him. Do you want him? She asked Kara. Does it matter what I want? It is just that he doesn't want me. Look at me, Meredith. I am poor and weak. You saw how I lived here, in 2 rows of clothes and food, so I don't die. How to like me. Do you know what his fame is? He dates with the most beautiful women in our pack. She snorts in tears. So you still want him? Meredith said, perfectly understanding the heart of a werewolf after living with them for most of her life. Yes, I still want him, and it hurts so much to see him every day. Then, let's make him regret that he rejected you, said Meredith, and take Kara in her arms. He will kneel before you to forgive him. You will see. So let's see if you will still want him back then, she said, making Kara's eyes look as big as onions. Kara asks, not knowing how to ask so as not to upset Meredith. What is happening with you and Alpha Max? Meredith looks at Kara and smiles at her, and decides to tell her the truth. In the end, it's okay to have someone by your side who understands you. So she tell her, do you know that he was married? Yes, a few years ago with a human. I believe she was Alpha's Landon Quinn. Don't tell me, Kara said, and puts her hand on her mouth. Oh my goddess, is that you? It is me, she said, as if it is nothing. You are my Luna. Kara jumps up with happiness. No, I never felt like a Luna. He ignored me our whole marriage, and I am convinced that at some point he completely forgot about my existence. Meredith said, looking at her very serious. But we heard that you are the ugliest woman in the universe. Kara exclaimed. Was he blind? It's a long story, but right now he has no idea who I am. And I intend to remain this way. What are you going to do, Meredith? He is very smart and powerful. He will find out in the end. Until then, I will live in peace if he will let me. But it seems to me that he has other plans, said Meredith, looking at her phone, which is still ringing. Will you answer to him? Kara asked. Let him boil.